Hey guys, I recently got myself one of these component testers off eBay. It's a pretty cool little device. It's made from an open source design. It lets you test a lot of different components and it will automatically characterize them, detect what it is, tell you how it's connected to the terminals, and give you some stats. So I'll quickly show you what I mean. So I'll put this capacitor in, hit the button, see it says it's testing, and we've got ourselves a 106.9 microfarad capacitor with a 0.33 ohm ESR and a V loss of 0.5%. So it's good for characterizing different things, but I'm not going to do a review on the actual operation of this unit because it's dead simple. That's how it works, and they work quite well. What we're going to do today is we're going to put it into an enclosure. I've got this box here with a nice little door for the 9-volt battery. I'm going to mount that into here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go on the computer, on my CAD software, and design a front panel. So we'll have a square cut out for the screen and a hole for the switch and whatnot. But I'm not actually going to use this switch and this ZIF socket, zero insertion force socket. I want to replace it with 3 little banana jacks, some little sockets there, because it's got 3 terminals. This ZIF socket has just got each one of these is connected up in a different sequence, so you can plug things in however you want. So I'm going to have those 3 in its place, and then because this switch actually sticks too far up for this to sit flat, if I was to cut a hole, the screen there, I'm going to take that off and I'm going to put a panel mount button in instead. That'll let me mount this screen a lot easier. And I've got a few alligator clips and whatnot here. So I'll head over to the computer and make this design. I'll print it out and then I'll show you how we're going to stick it on and get our panel to line up just perfectly. Alright, so I've got my front panel designed, cut out here for the screen, and then there's 4 holes I'll be making for the mounting holes here. I'll be using those the standoffs here just to hold the PCB nice and secure. And then I've got 3 terminals, these ones here. Got the holes marked with a cross so I can drill exactly in the center, and then the outer circle is just the outer size, just so I wouldn't put them too close together. And the same for the switch there. Plus in the middle, that cross there, so I can drill right through the middle. Size of the hole, and then the outer dimensions of the switch, just so I wouldn't, bump into anything and ruin my case. So now all I have to do is cut this out. Then I'm going to use some glue, just a glue stick, glue it onto my front panel, and then I can use that as a template, cut out exactly the right sizes, and then just use some water, just wash off, because this is a water-based glue, wash the paper off, come off perfectly clean, and then we've got perfect size holes for our case. Then the next step after that is I'm going to actually make a front panel sticker, and I'll show you how to do that as well, but that will be coming next. So for now, we'll get this onto here and then we'll cut out our holes. Alright, so we've got that stuck down. Now it's a matter of drilling our holes. So I'm going to drill these out just with a step drill. Maybe these are small enough to do with a normal drill bit. And then this one I'm going to, hopefully we can use my nibbling tool. I'm not sure how thick this plastic is, if it's too thick for my nibbling tool, but hopefully we can. Otherwise I'll just have to cut it with an X-Acto knife and just work my way through the plastic. So I'll get my drill and my drill bits. Usually what I do as well is I'll drill a tiny little pilot hole using a set of small drill bits and a drill bit vise, this little like a needle vise. That way I can get it exactly in the center, and then when I drill my hole with my drill bit, everything's going to be lined up because the starting holes are very accurate. So you can see there, I'll try and bring it up as close as I can. 3 holes on the left and then the 4th hole here. So I just used the needle drill, the needle vise with a tiny, I think that's a 0.8 or 0.6 mil drill, just to get the exact holes. Now when I drill with my battery drill, I can center onto those holes and they'll be perfectly in line. Got my drill, bit overkill, huge 18 volt DeWalt, but hey, I'm an electrician so I use it all the time. This thing can drill 25 mil hole through concrete with the hammer mode. So we won't be using that today. I'm going to use a smaller drill bit just to start with, because if I use a large drill bit, it's still got a chance of wandering on that small hole. So if I just use the small one, 2 mil now, just to enlarge those pilot holes. That'll make my life a lot easier. Make sure your fingers are out the way. You only want holes in your project, not yourself. Alright, so these ones are a 6 mil hole, so I'll go straight to a 6 mil for these 3. And this one I'm going to use my step drill. This is my small, I've got 2 sizes. This is a small one and this goes up to 12 mil, so I'll just go straight through with that because my switch needs a 12 mil hole. There we go. I've actually mismeasured. Not a big problem. These holes need to be 8 mil, not 6. I didn't take into account the plastic. So I'll just draw those out to 8. And we need to go up to there. When you use these step drills, one way to make sure you get the right depth and don't go too far is I like to colour in the actual level I want to go to. Like this. That way I can see where I need to stop. There we go. That's the correct size. No worries. And then the switch, sitting there like that. Awesome. Now I've got to measure the thickness of this plastic to see if my nibbling tool has got enough capacity to nibble around there. That'll make life a lot easier. But if not, then I'll do it the hard way. Alright, so it seems like my nibbling tool doesn't have enough capacity, just by about 1/2 millimetre to cut through this plastic. The plastic's just too thick to fit in the cutting bit in the end there. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to drill a series of small holes all the way around. Just basically perforate that just on the inside of the line. Then I can cut that out easily and then cut it and file it so it's a perfect square. So I'll get to doing that and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, so I've perforated around the edge. Now I just have to cut this out using an X-Acto or some cutters. Just get in the holes there and snip between each hole. And then I can knock that piece out, and then we can clean up that cut so it's nice and square. Alright, so there we are with the front panel cut out. The holes are nice and lined up, and the hole for the LCD is nice and square there. Looking pretty good. I've just printed out on the sticky paper the front panel. So this is just like a sticker sheet, A4 size. Pretty cheap to buy. I'm using just the normal paper because I've got a black and white laser printer. So what I'll be doing is I'll be putting a layer of clear contact, like the clear plastic stuff used to protect your books, on top of this. If you've got a inkjet printer, you can actually print it in colour and all that, and you can get ones that are self-laminating where you print on it and then there's a sheet that goes on top. They basically give you that stuff, the clear plastic to go on top. So I'll be doing that separately. I don't actually have any right now because it's kind of seems to be very hard to get in Japan for some reason. So I've got to go to a special store, like a proper stationery store, and get some. So I'll just be doing this without the plastic, but now is the time to put the plastic on because it's a lot easier to cut it out now than to try and get it in with no bubbles around the place. So if you're going to put the plastic on, do it now. And next step is to cut the shape out. In Illustrator, when I printed it, I'll show you a close-up. You can see the registration marks when that focuses there, and each corner there, there and there. So I'm just going to line my ruler up with each one of these lines and just slice the square or the rectangle, and we'll have our label ready to stick on. Alright, now before I stick that on here, I'm going to use one of these, an alcohol pad. I just got a pack of 100 of these for like $2 or $3 or something like that, shipped from eBay. They're a 70% isopropyl alcohol, and that will help us make sure that that's going to stick on there properly, get rid of all our fingerprints and any grease and dirt. So clean off your plastic, and on the inside around where we're going to fold the paper back, dry it off with a clean bit of cloth. And we're ready to stick it down. So this is pretty much the hardest part of the operation, is finding the corner of the stupid sticker. Actually, I'll work from the bottom and go up. So alright, got it. Okay. Now you want to work from one end and go all the way to the other, but first, before you go ripping it all open, make sure you got it lined up, because you don't want to end up going off on an angle, because then you got to start all over again. Kind of just ease it into position. And there we go. I've just made it 1 millimeter too long. That's no big deal because we've got a lip where this is actually sitting inside. It's a kind of recessed panel. So I'll just run my knife along the top and cut off that excess once I'm done. Make sure we've got it all nice and flat. Alright, now we'll cut out that LCD. So basically this is really easy. I've made it black for a reason, so that when we fold it underneath it's going to have a nice black edge. We get our knife and we just go right in the corner and come in like that. Join them up, and then we'll just fold it in. Stick them down. The benefit of folding in like this is it's not going to fray and lift up around the edges, because it's being held, you know, all the way around. Gives it a nice edge, and you're not going to have little bits lifting up. Not perfectly centered, but good enough. I'll go along there with a bit of a black pen or black marker or something. Alright, so now we just have to cut out the holes here, install our hardware, and then we'll pretty much be done. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll install the hardware and I'll show you the finished product, because installing the stuff is pretty straightforward. Alright, time to see if this thing works. Got myself a capacitor, so we'll just plug it in. Let's see what it says. Testing, and it's 22.26 nanofarad, 18 ohms ESR, and it's a capacitor. Yeah, I'd say that's a capacitor, alright. Awesome, it's working. So there you go. That's how you make yourself a nice project box with a professional looking label. Front face, just like my Geiger counter. Awesome. Alright. Hope that helps you guys out, and I'll see you next time.